This video is brought to you by Financial Edge Training, and you can get 25% off all their online courses by using the code in the video description below. What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, you can find out a bit more about me through the social media links below. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on LinkedIn. I post every week. I try and post interesting content, helpful stuff for careers, internships, anything and everything for students and graduates. And if you want to kind of keep up to date with the social media side of things, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I do frequent posts throughout the week, and you can kind of decide what content I put out on my YouTube channel, often through voting on my Instagram. So make sure you check those out. Now in today's video, we are going to be talking about how to convert your summer internship into a full-time offer. I really just wanted to give 10 top tips to you if you've got a summer internship, so you can go into it and make sure you put your best foot forward, make sure you overachieve throughout the summer internship, outperform, and come away with a full-time offer. So let's get straight into it. Okay, tip number 1, induction week. Network, remember names, search in Outlook. So induction week is the first week of your internship. It's where lots of individuals from different parts of the company and from different levels of seniority come and present to you. Always take down notes of any names of the people that present to you, and any interns or employees that you meet, make sure you note their names down. Now the main reason to do that is because when you go and sit on the desk for the rest of your internship, you can go into Outlook and search up those names. When you search those names in Outlook, you can see what seniority they were, what team they're in, and if they are based in London or whichever city you're working in. Now once you do that, you can shoot them an email and ask them for 30 minutes to catch up, so you can pick their brains over a coffee and ask them any questions that you might have. This is extremely important because it builds your internal network. Building your internal network can only be a positive because it means you get to know a lot more about the company you're interning in, and it's actually very encouraged by managers, teams, and most companies anyways. Tip number 2, 30-minute catch-ups. So once you do your induction week, you're going to go and meet your team. When you meet your team, you're going to be sat on a desk, and that designated area is going to be the area for your team. Now immediately or within that week, you should set up 30-minute catch-ups with every single person in your team. You need to get to know them, you need to build rapport, you need to build a relationship, because at the end of the internship, these are the people that are going to decide whether you join that team. A lot of your offer depends on likability, whether you're able to get the job done, but all these things are secondary to relationship building. I truly believe likability is extremely important for securing an offer, because you don't want to be an intern or an employee who is extremely smart but doesn't click or suit the culture or fit of that team. And so making sure you put in 30-minute catch-ups with different individuals in the team and getting to know them is extremely important in order for you to have a good working relationship throughout the internship. Tip number 3, delivery. Always under-promise and over-deliver. Now what I mean by that is, if your manager asks you for a piece of work and the deadline is next Tuesday at 5 PM, don't say to them, yes, I'll have it by Monday 3 PM, and then you get it late to them. Always tell them you get it on time. Tell them you get it when they need it, but always make sure you get it to them way ahead of time. But don't just do it fast, make sure you do it to a high standard and ahead of time. Because if you can save your colleagues, your managers, your team time and produce high quality work, you're likely to get a return offer, because everyone in the city is strapped for time. Everyone's got lots of work to do, but they don't have enough time to do it all. So if you can come in as an intern and show them, you know what, you can take on all this responsibility, produce the work to a high standard and do it ahead of time, they're gonna like you a lot. So always under promise, over deliver. Never do the opposite. Tip number 4 is around leveraging your buddy and your mentor. Now every internship, every company, they will give you each intern a person that is their buddy. So this is usually like an analyst, a graduate analyst or an associate, and then they would give you a mentor who's usually quite higher up, so a VP or ED, so executive director or vice president. If you've got any work related questions that you might think are silly, ask one of your interns. If they don't know, go to your buddy. And if you've got any personal concerns, or you feel like you're in the wrong team, or you've got any other concerns that you're not comfortable talking to your buddy or any of the interns about, you should talk to either HR, so human resources, or if you feel you're close with your mentor and you've got that type of relationship, talk to your mentor, because they have been at the firm for a number of years. They will know how to navigate such concerns or issues, and so they are a good point of contact for you to reach out to. They give you a buddy and a mentor for those purposes, because sometimes you might not feel comfortable to talk about your concerns or any questions to your immediate team, and so that's where the buddy and the mentor comes in. So definitely leverage those resources, and always ask, if you've got any burning questions or need any guidance, those are your points of contact to go and speak to. While we're on the topic of buddies and mentors, throughout the internship, you're going to be assessed constantly. Now, midway through the internship, you're going to be in what's called a mid-internship review. This is where your manager would have collated lots of feedback from everyone that's kind of worked with you up until that midpoint of the internship, and they would have given feedback on you as an individual, how you're doing, what you're doing well, what you're doing not so well. Now, before your mid-internship review, it's important to consult your mentor and ask them, how should I approach this meeting? How should I go into it? How should I prepare for it? Your mentor will be able to give you lots of good advice and kind of help you prepare for that meeting. So make sure you speak to them or put in a 30-minute catch-up with your mentor before your mid-internship review, because that will position you or help you position yourself well for that very important meeting. Because now, once you get to the mid-internship review meeting, the rest of your internship is where everything really counts. And the reason for that, and that brings me on to tip number 5, is self-awareness. Self-awareness is extremely important, because if you go into your mid-internship review and your manager asks you, okay, Afzal, what do you think you're doing particularly well? What do you think you're not doing so well? And you give the completely wrong or opposite answers to what they're expecting, they're going to think, okay, this individual doesn't really know or isn't really self-aware or know what they're doing right or wrong. Individuals who are self-aware stand out. They're able to get the work done, and they're able to, most importantly, know where they're going wrong and change accordingly. So in your mid-internship review, your manager is going to tell you, these are the things you're doing great, and these are the things that you can improve on. Now, this is where it's very, very important. So from your mid-internship review, you've got the rest of your internship, so the second half of your internship, to show your manager and your team that you can take on the negative feedback or the constructive criticism and work on it and change it around. So if they said to you, your attention to detail wasn't as good as what they expected an analyst's attention to detail to be, you need to show them over the next 6 weeks or 5 weeks or 4 weeks that your attention to detail can improve dramatically. Because the key thing about an intern to get hired is, can they take on feedback, and can they show the team that if they were average at one thing, can they learn how to do it and become exceptional at it? So every point that you get told on your feedback that is a developmental point, can you take it on board and improve it by multiple fold between the mid-internship review and the end of the internship? Companies don't just want analysts and interns who stay constant in their growth and development. They want to see people who come in and have potential to rise and improve and get better. So you need to show them you can take on the feedback, you can act on it, and you can vastly improve by the end of the internship. If you do that, that's most of the battle won, and you'll be doing yourself a lot of favors. Tip number 6, commercial awareness. This one is self-explanatory. Make sure you keep up to date. If you're commercially aware, it helps you stand out. Good resources to use: the Financial Times, The Economist. These can be quite costly, especially for interns, and so use alternative sources: Google Finance, Yahoo Finance, Sky News, whatever it is. You could just search financial news in Google. You'll get a lot of daily news updates. Just keep up to date. Make sure you're reading the specific things that are relevant to your bank or your company and specific to your team, as well as what's going on in the macro environment and the geopolitical landscape. You do all of that daily, you'll be commercially aware. And the added bonus is when you are going for catch-ups and coffees or meeting people to talk to by the coffee spot or the tea spot in the company, you can have conversations, and you can have conversations about things going on in the markets, things going on in the world, and that just makes you stand out compared to an intern who isn't able to have those conversations because they aren't commercially aware. Tip number 7. Be a sponge. I'm sure you've heard this one over and over again. Go into this company that you're interning at and try and absorb as much information as possible. You're going to be there for a set number of weeks, and without that ID card, you won't otherwise have access to it. Try and learn as much as possible. Try and be that one individual that can learn the most given their time there, because the more you learn, the more naturally you will be outperforming, because you know more about the bank, your conversation topics are more relevant, you're going to put more insight or relevant insight into your projects, and your work will just stand out compared to the others. So try and learn as much as possible. The best way to learn as much as possible is to have an inquisitive mind. No question is a poor question as an intern, because literally there are going to be interns who have no background in economics, finance, maths, banking, whatever it is, and that's completely normal. That's the purpose of the internship. The employees don't expect you to know anything, so you can ask any question and they will happily tell you, teach you, or help you answer it. So don't be afraid to ask any questions, be a sponge and learn as much as possible. Tip number 8. Your final project, make sure you smash it. Practice makes perfect, and make sure you plant questions. Now on the first point, practice makes perfect. Throughout your internship, you're going to be working on a project that you need to present to everyone that you've met at the end of your internship. Now this final project needs to add value, because it needs to show the team or your manager or everyone that you meet, this is what I've been working on throughout my internship, and it adds value to your team or to the company. Now you're going to need to present that, and for many students, public speaking in general is it's like the number 1 or number 2 feared thing to do for human beings. So it's not easy. The only way to get better at something, or public speaking specifically, is to practice. And the best way to practice is to use your buddy and your mentor and your fellow interns. Practice in front of them. Perfect your pitch. Every time you present it, get feedback, constant feedback off your buddy, off your mentor. Make sure they know what your project is, and they'll help you tweak it accordingly. So when you do it the final time in front of everyone, it's going to be flawless. So practice, practice, practice. Now what do I mean by plant questions? When you're presenting your final project to your audience, they are going to ask you questions, and a lot of the MDs, the VPs, the analysts, the associates, everyone asks you a lot of questions, and some of them can be tricky because they want to test if you actually understood or gained a good grasp of the subject that you're talking about, and so they want to test you. When you can answer their questions well, it comes off great and you look good. Now and everyone does this, an easy cheat or thing that a lot of interns do is plant questions. So get your fellow interns or your mentor or your buddy to ask you questions, that 1 or 2 questions that you know the answers to. Point number 9 that you need to pay attention to is final things to focus on. Final project, final catch-ups, and final bits of desk work. So my advice to you is don't do your final project on the last week of your internship. Do it on the penultimate week of your internship. So you want to do your final project and then have a week of nothing to do. Get your final project out the way, and then you have your final catch-ups and desk work to do. So that final week of your internship, prioritize catching up with people. So everyone you've met throughout the internship, once again, 30-minute catch-ups in all their calendars. Update them on your internship, how you found it, what you learned, and thank them for their time. And just have one last catch-up before you leave, and then desk work. You want to do as much desk work, so work for your team, besides your final project and presentations, because you want to show them that you can execute work that they need to a high standard and ahead of time. Those 2 things are very important, and you should leave your final week to do those as much as possible. And then last but not least, tip number 10 is ask yourself about the next steps. Whether you get an offer or a rejection, always keep at the back of your mind, what are your options? What do you want to do? Ask yourself questions such as, am I happy in this team? Is there a different team that I want to explore or intern in or work at when I graduate? Is this the company that I want to work for? Is this company's culture right for me? When they give me an offer or a rejection, what are my next steps? If they give me an offer, am I going to sign the contract and tell them I'm going to join them full-time after I graduate? Or do I want to hold off and apply to other firms? Do I want to apply to front office roles, back office roles, middle office roles? Do I want to apply to completely different industries? Do I want to go into banking? Do I want to go into tech? Do I want to go and work for a startup? All of these questions you need to be asking yourself throughout the internship and after the internship, because at the end of the day, the summer internship that you do in your second year of university is going to be, it plays a big role in what you end up doing after you graduate. Because if you do convert it into an offer, then you go into final year, not worrying about applying for jobs if you're happy with that offer. If you're not happy with that offer, you need to strategically and tactically, even throughout your summer internship, start applying, because a lot of applications open to grad schemes or alternative summer internships if you're considering doing a master's. A lot of these questions you need to be thinking about, so make sure you're aware of the potential options that you have at the end of the summer internship. And my personal advice to you would be, throughout your summer internship, make sure you network as much as possible, because you never know, like, a lot of doors open from networking. If you click with someone or you build a good relationship with someone that's not in your immediate team when you're interning, you know, they might ask you to go and interview for them, and that might be the opportunity that you're looking for. So I highly encourage meeting as many people, not just employees, meet as many interns as you can, learn about the different divisions, the different roles, how they all interlink, because they do. Most importantly, embrace it, have fun, try and learn as much as possible, and don't take it too seriously. Be yourself, have fun. Some students or some interns you'll see take the internship too seriously, and they start going at each other and competing, and, you know, stay out of that. Do your own thing. Make sure you focus on the important thing, which is learning as much as possible and building good relationships. One other way to secure an internship or convert it into a full-time role is to skill up. Most people applying will be able to say they've taken a degree, but fewer applicants will be able to show off more advanced skills they've gained off their own back. I've put a link in the video description below to a free course on financial statement analysis from Financial Edge Training, which is a great place to start, as this is an essential skill for anyone looking to go into corporate finance. This offers a small taste of Investment Banker in a Box, one of Financial Edge's most popular online courses with over 350 videos across accounting, modeling, valuation, and M&A. This course is really worth your time, as you'll build practical skills to impress at interviews. On top of this, you can get 25% off all FE online courses with the discount code AFZAL25. Now, you might be wondering what's the main difference between FE and the other online finance training course providers. Last year, the world's top 3 investment banks, as rated by the Financial Times, chose them to teach over 5,970 interns, analysts, and associates. These are the guys trusted and recognized by the top. In addition to this, they sell a variety of publications, my favorite book being the Analyst and Associate Guide. If you're interested in getting ahead of your peers, you can follow the link in the video description below to the free online course, and make sure you use the code AFZAL25 if you purchase any of their online courses, so you can benefit from 25% off. If you like that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Let's try and get 500 likes on this video. If you're interning this summer and you've got any questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and make a video to answer them. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you subscribe. I release new videos every Wednesday, and if you are subscribed, make sure you turn on the post notifications so you never miss an upload. Once again, thank you so much for your time. I want to say a big good luck to every single one of you that's got an internship. Well done for getting this far. And if you do have an internship, make sure you network, learn as much as possible, and keep watching these videos. Once again, thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.